Hello and welcome back everyone, we Weeb Online, and today I'm gonna continue the story What If Naruto Chose Darkness Part 2. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and to watch more videos like this, subscribe to my channel and turn that bell notification on so you never miss an upload. Now wasting no more time, let's begin.
On day 6 of their training, it was. At the end of the 5th, Naruto fell asleep in the wilderness, aiming to use his superior stamina to outpace Sasuke. He didn't care that he knew Tsunami and Kakashi would chastise him in the morning. The words of Sasuke and Kakashi were echoing in his head. A soft voice murmured, "You'll catch a cold sleeping in a place like this." With a flick of his eyes, Naruto saw a stunning face and long black hair. "Let me worry about that." He pulled his upper body off the grass. "What are you doing here?" The stranger opened a basket close to them and showed him what was in it. Putting it down again, they grinned and said, "I'm collecting herbs." "What are you doing here?" He stretched his arms and legs and said, "Training." Their lips pursed at a nod. "I noticed your forehead protector. Are you a ninja? Why are you training?" "So I can become stronger, duh." "But you already look strong enough." Naruto shook his head. "I want to be the best of the best." "Why is that?" He smiled, "So everyone who ever shunned me regrets it. They're going to feel miserable when they see me and hear my name, which they will for the rest of their lives." They leaned in. His bewildered expression made them laugh. "Is that for yourself or someone else?" they asked. "Who else could it be for?" They looked down and said, "Do you have someone who is precious to you?" When a person has something important to protect, that's when they can truly become strong. Naruto chuckled and collapsed once more. His smile turned into a frown. "If you need other people to be strong, there was no strength in you to begin with." With a tilted head, the stranger observed him, and he hummed, "I'm not sure if they're precious to me. It's like they like it when I'm happy, and I am happy around them sometimes, but it's just," he said, taking a big breath and clenching his fist into a fist that he held over his chest. "They want me to be happy, so I can stop being so miserable around them. I can only get people to care about me through making it hard to be around me." His lips parted. "My problems are only a concern when it affects other people. My happiness is only important when it makes things easier for others or makes them happy." He let out a sigh of relief. "Almost everyone I know makes me feel alone. But aren't you of use needed?" "I guess that's not enough for me." They hummed, scooped up the basket, and got to their feet. "I'm not sure you will become strong, but let's meet again to see." As they walked away, he waved from the ground, saying, "See you, lady. I'm a dude." With Sasuke a short distance to his left, Naruto's upper torso surged up as he stared at the young man's feminine shape becoming farther away. "Does this make me gay?" "What?" the Uchiha inquired, keeping his gaze fixed on the fleeing foreigner. His rival's stare was hardened. "You heard nothing." The boy in blue knew it was probably something silly, so he stayed silent. What he was attempting to tell the boy in orange, he just turned around and went to eat breakfast. For the remainder of the day, he received looks that were both accusing and juvenile. By the 7th day, Sakura was back on her feet and moving without any problems. She accompanied the boys into the woods, realizing she had fallen far behind in her training. Naruto was leaning arrogantly and proudly from the tallest branch on the trunk of a tall tree. She reached the pinnacle on her first attempt, much to their envy. Naruto looked up at the arrogant girl with pink hair and exclaimed, "You've got to be fucking kidding me. Kakashi's favorite book has his nose in it. I told you she had excellent chakra control. Just needs to work on building up her reserves." Expert in genjutsu, Sasuke declared from a tree branch, "Without a doubt, and I guess I'm ninjutsu, so Naruto's taijutsu." Naruto gave him a glance. He smirked at his mockery, saying, "You can sound offended when you can actually stop me from grappling you." Kakashi turned and started to leave, saying, "Good, well-rounded team. I'm going to the bridge with Tazuna soon. Have fun." The trio persevered for a while. After an hour, Sakura understood that she only truly needed to use her chakra because she was already an expert at the practice. Fearing fatigue once more, she retired far earlier than the other two. Using their newfound maximum height, Naruto and Sasuke set out to find the highest tree in their area, making that their final contest. The result was a tie. Sakura will go out there, do it, and then come back to act like it wasn't anything, and that you should make her your girlfriend or something, Naruto muttered, his weary arms slung over Sasuke's shoulder. Sasuke moaned, I know. Naruto questioned, why do you lead her on? I mean, what's the harm in telling her to fuck off? He looked at him. Imagine her crying like she did at the practice field, except all the time. Well shit, maybe she'll grow some tits. I'm not interested in that. Naruto shot him a glare in response. He put his arm back by his side and said, okay, whatever you prefer, man. Sasuke grimaced. What happened to being better? The quiver caused by his word choice made Naruto smirk. I thought you preferred me being a dick. Stepping near the Tazuna main door, Sasuke rolled his eyes. He unlocked it and entered, saying, only because that you isn't faking. We're back. Naruto trailed off, saying, I think we've learned all we can about running up trees. As they sat down at the dining table, Kakashi nodded. All right, tomorrow, all three of you will help protect the bridge. It's almost complete, and not a single attack. Couldn't have asked for better luck, Tazuna commented. Inari pounded the table with his hands. Why do you guys bother to try so hard? No ma. Naruto yawned. Oh, just shut the fuck up. Aren't you tired of feeling sad for yourself? Afria. Before Naruto's hand could reach the back of his head, Kakashi caught it and said easy. Instead of complaining to us about how difficult it is for you, why don't you just commit suicide? Naruto Sasuke rolled his eyes at Sakura's outburst. He shook his head and moved away from his sensei, saying, I'm going to bed. He didn't say anything more or give anyone a look as he walked away, leaving everyone in differing states of shock. A while later, Kakashi went over to Inari, who was seated on the pier, and said, May I come along? Naruto. Totally intended to hurt you, he said, taking the boy's silence as an affirmative. All it took for him to judge you as worthless as dirt was the instant the word nearly left your mouth, he murmured. Tazuna informed us about your father. Like Naruto, he was fatherless as a child. He looked to Inari, saying actually, he's never known his parents, and he's never had a single friend. You can count the people in the village who think well of him on one hand, company included. He behaves out because they have denigrated him since he was a little child due to events beyond his control. Violence, insults, and stating anything comes to mind carelessly are all examples of his behavior. What's the point when they already consider him to be scum? Won't that only make matters worse? The boy inquired. Yes, but he doesn't even think to try to improve it. Who genuinely wants the affection and admiration of those who despise them? The child that is not welcomed by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. Kakashi frowned beneath his mask. He undoubtedly despises you because you remind him of what he used to be, a wailing child who feels helpless. Perhaps no one knows how you feel more than Naruto, and he detests that. He is aware of what power is, and for him, it's now everything. He turned to leave. That night, and for the rest of his life, those words would haunt Inari. He did not know what strength was, only that it was something he did not have, and that he desired very much. After a full night of training, Naruto was sleeping in the following morning, so when Team 7 left without him, it was something that woke him up. He ate breakfast so quickly that the remaining citizens were afraid he would choke on it, and when they tried to explain it to him, he said something as unintelligible as it was incoherent. I'll prove those idiots. Tsunami, you are a lovely woman, and I want to give you a child that isn't a worthless crybaby before you dry out. The real one punched it out of existence while the other made a clone of itself to replace it. Learn from his mistake. He left before either of them could say anything more. He glanced back at the civilians and made 2 clones. Make sure no one tries any funny business. They nodded in unison. What? Inari made no specific request to anyone. The head clone remarked, stupid bastard went rogue. Its own clone arched an eyebrow. Don't we go away with one decent hit, boss? Isn't it time we pulled out our ninja tools? Oh right, the main man used them all against no brows, it said, checking its pouches. This is easily the most brilliant thing any clone has ever thought of. They produced additional shadow clones who changed into ninja equipment. That's right, boss. The main man had better remember us. The cloned subordinate nodded. As she looked at the strange scene, Tsunami stroked her child's shoulders and said Naruto might have some deep-seated issues. The subordinate's eyes widened before its progenitor punched him out of existence, leaving behind the transformed tools. You knew better, Mini-Me. He collected them into his pouches. In the end, I'm the only one the main man can trust. They all said in unison, we heard that. I still value and appreciate you, the subordinate said. Yeah, I figured that out yesterday. The Naruto clone stood vigil, dutifully but bored out of its mind, and mother and son went back to their normal lives. Suddenly, two masked assailants came from a distance. Get out of our way, brat ninja, yelled the person wearing an eye patch. Those are parts of me, I guess, he said, hurling 4 shuriken at them before they turned into Naruto's and kicked them. I am half of Naruto Uzumaki, which makes me not half. Once the task was completed, they returned to the head clone, changed back into ninja tools, and went back to his pouches. One of them locked down one of the thug's limbs and broke it before doing the same to the other, leaving them neutralized but screaming. Tsunami and Inari did their best to ignore the screaming until the clone got tired of it and just killed them. He had some of the ninja tool clones drag their bodies off to not alarm the civilians. Part of him wondered if he should have interrogated them, but he was certain there was little to be gained. The rest of its existence was uneventful. Team 7 was unable to contain the situation at the bridge, where Sasuke faced an array of ice mirrors and Kakashi was facing a fully recovered Zabuza. Sakura had to stand by Tazuna because her trick had failed twice, and she was on the verge of pulling it off before the fake hunter Nin cornered Sasuke. This is the reason you ought to have awakened me up, Naruto cried out, sprinting over to where they were. Team, my ass. Needles prevented Zabuza's shuriken from striking him. Haku. Outside the array, the imposter said, let me fight them my own way. Soft as always, Zabuza shook his head. Okay, let's kill this son of a bitch, a shocked and kneeling Sasuke said as Naruto entered the ice confinement zone. You fucking idiot. Use your head, Sasuke screamed. Something with floating ice mirrors around it. Enemy shinobi out in front. He gestured toward the area between the mirrors. Friend on the team, please. Enemy jutsu is mirrored by floating ice. Interior region impacted. Maybe wake me up the next time so I don't show up at a combat in progress knowing nothing at all, you depressing cocksucker. Taking a look at Kakashi, Zabuza said, this is your squad. You caught us at a bad time. Over here? Haku said, slinking back into a mirror and teleporting behind the object the two within the array were staring at. Damn. After bringing his fingers together to form the tiger seal and blasting a big ball of fire at the mirrors, Sasuke failed to even melt a single drop. In response, Haku dove into both of them with needles, saying, your level of fire jutsu is inadequate. Cloned sufficiently to equal the number of mirrors, Naruto thought, at least it looked cool. They leapt to attack, only to be destroyed by further needles. Ah, fuck. Haku said, it's hard for me to become a true shinobi, but I don't want to kill you or have you kill me. However, I can demolish my tender heart and become into a real shinobi if necessary. Don't hate me, please. I want to keep someone I value safe, to defend them in battle. I want to fulfill that person's dreams because it is also my dream, the mask-wearing figure said as it materialized in front of them in the mirror. I can kill you in order to become a shinobi. You're so theatrical, damn it. Would you please try to murder us? Can't believe I just said that, but dying would be better than having to hear you talk about how much killing us is going to suck for you, moaned Naruto as Sasuke gave him a fierce glare. You move well, but this is the end. Haku sped from mirror to mirror, showering them with needles even if they were able to evade some. As you wish. Narrowing his eyes, Sasuke took a deep breath before grabbing Naruto and jumping when he saw the fake hunter Nin's hands peek out of the mirror. This allowed him to avoid Haku's strike completely while sending them both rolling onto the ground. He picked himself up and grinned, realizing how perfect it was. He shifted his attention to the recuperating Naruto, saying, "I will give you what you wanted." He inched out the mirror. "I see you too possess a powerful Kekai Genkai." Sasuke moved, instinctively responding. Glancing up, Naruto's eyes were startled as he saw the Uchiha using his body to protect him. He glanced back. "What's with that worried face?" "Why?" Sasuke smiled, barely hearing him. "I hated you." "Why should I be saved?" "My body just moved on its own, dumbass." Naruto ran over and caught him before he could touch the ground. "Itachi is still out there." He gazed into Naruto's eyes as tears welled up in one of his. "I don't know. If he could have shrugged, he would have." "Naruto, you're crying on the inside, which is why you're angry." He became limp and closed his eyes, spilling a solitary tear. With a nod of acknowledgement, Haku said, "He discovered a strength he was lacking in you. He gave his life without thinking twice to keep someone he cared about safe." As he withdrew inside the closest mirror, he turned to face Naruto. "He is a shinobi that deserves respect. Is this the first time you've seen a buddy die in battle? This is the ninja's path." Instead of an ice mirror, Naruto's face was frozen in shock, tears streaming down his whiskered cheeks as he peered up at a cage. At the sight of him, crimson eyes blinked with delight, and the beast snickered. It was for the best. He was a Uchiha. "I hated him. But who do you despise the most at this moment?" "That masked piece of shit." In the shadows, its grin-brightened teeth said, "What would you like to do to him? Break his bones, strip his skin off, gouge out his eyes, tear off his limbs, and rip out his heart." It laughed, "But you're stuck. You're just a helpless boy crying over a dead one. You lack the necessary skills to escape this situation." "You do." "Why would I act in that way?" "If I do, then we'll both die, right? I'll change in due time. It's not fun, but I can put up with it," it lied. Naruto fell into the water and pleaded, "Please, I want to kill him so bad. I detest this. Everything. Release the seal and I'll make it all go away. You'll kill Kakashi and Sakura. Then I guess you'll just have to die here," it said, almost growling. He lowered his brow to the ground and begged, "I ask you to please." "It sounds more like that. I am your true power." Years of machinations had led up to this moment. Chakra as red as its fur rushed over the boy. "You're beginning to understand the nature of our relationship. Those who care for you only do so because I exist," it laughed, starting to convulse. "I have always been your strength. Express your thankfulness for the kindness that has entwined my existence with your meaninglessness." "I'm going to kill you," Naruto said, his wounds healing, needles inside him being forced out, and pupils narrowing to slits as he shambled to his feet, red chakra swirling around him. "You worthless piece of shit." His nails grew, whiskers deepened, and eyes reddened. It bubbled around him, forming a human fox-shaped cloak with a single tail. The new chakra was sensed by the two Jonin and everyone else outside the array. It was something they had both witnessed at some point. Only one of them took the chakra on personally, though. "You came here with your fucking Jinchuriki," Zabuza bellowed. "Also, you're about to die." Kakashi removed several scrolls and ran them over the inscriptions, drenching his thumb in the blood from the minor wound on his chest. This was supposed to be a C-rank mission. Haku shot needles, but the crimson chakra cloak negated their power. "Oh, this is the end." Naruto threw out his hand, and the chakra cloak expanded to form a massive hand. He roared as he swept it through the mirrors, eliminating any way for Haku to escape or retreat. He tightly gripped the final mirror to grasp Haku's entire body. He mocked and drew the fake hunter Nin to him, punching him in the face and shattering his mask. "You? Of course." He scoffed as the man with a feminine appearance fell to his knees. "The first person I spill my guts to." His fury subsided a little, and with it, so did his cloak. "What made you stop?" Haku asked. "I killed your guy, but you can't kill me." Naruto struck him in the abdomen, saying, "Bitch, don't test me." With fiery eyes looking at the dead, he sprang up, gripping his Haori by the shoulders and exclaiming, "Why didn't you kill me back at the forest?" "I tried to be strong for Zabuza, but you were right. Those who look to others for strength lack strength in the first place. Haku grinned. I am a weak shinobi. I am of no use to Zabuza, so I have no reason to live. What in the world are you discussing? Why does it matter so much to you, that asshole? Then Haku told him about his parents. His father killed his mother for having a Kekai Genkai, and he killed his mother back. Because of his short-sightedness, he was shunned by everyone. It was the most agonizing feeling, Haku said. In all the world, there was no need for me. I was unnecessary. His eyes met Naruto's with understanding. I do not understand what that boy was to you, but I can tell, even for a brief moment, he took away the pain you feel, the pain you wish others to suffer for bestowing it on you. Tears streamed down his cheeks. When Zabuza took away mine, I was so happy. I want you to kill me because of this, please. You realize that you're fucking crazy? Naruto scowled. I assumed that you, of all others, would comprehend. I can't sustain a life without meaning. After inhaling deeply, Naruto shook his head, his ferocious features disappearing. People like you really piss me off, you know. He released his grip on Haku by reaching into his pouch. Again, he made the tiger seal sorry. When Naruto turned to face Kakashi, he found Zabuza behind him and Kakashi with an electrical hand through Haku's chest. Naruto said, I wanted to do that. Before Zabuza could cut them both to pieces, Kakashi leaped back and placed Haku's corpse down, saying, Naruto, stay where you are. He also freed his hand and declared, this is my fight. And that was my kill, he said in a low voice to himself. We've killed. Truly mine, I did accept your request. With a look of dejection on his face, he glanced down at the complete and utter failure that had befallen him. His nasty roommate had more material to torment him than he had already, and what little pride he had left was shattered. Naruto, Sakura ran towards him and yelled, Where's Sasuke? He tried his hardest not to cry, staring up at the overcast sky to divert his thoughts, scarcely realizing that Sakura was rushing past him with Tazuna. All he wanted was to be anywhere else. They were some distance behind a crippled Zabuza when Kakashi's tapping cane caught their eye. Getting kicked in the ass? How disappointed, remarked a stubbly man who had a group of bullies following him. Gato, you filthy bastard, you! Screamed Zabuza. Oh please, I had a feeling that you would eventually turn against me. Gato started walking toward them. You missing nin types aren't the kind to play second fiddle to normal folk. Looks like our fight is over, Kakashi sighed Zabuza. I have no motivation to attack you, just as I have no motivation to kill Tazuna. I was winning, he said, putting away his Sharingan eye. A shame. Don't push it. Gato kicked Haku's limp head and halted before its corpse, saying, I owe this one for breaking my arm. You foolish fuck, Red Chakra was swirling around Naruto as he strode forward, saying, He's already dead. Naruto, shouted Kakashi. He halted, turned away from his sensei, and faced Zabuza. And you, a 2-bit Jonin asshole with no eyebrows. You were everything to him, he said, gesturing at the corpse. He would have fulfilled whatever request you had. And in the end, Jesus gave his life as a sacrifice for you. Are you going to treat him like a piece of discarded garbage? In the world of shinobi, everyone depends on one another. We are instruments. Not him, but his blood was all I desired. He loved you so much he wanted me to kill him for failing you. Naruto's cloak fully materialized, and you have no emotion at all. He turned to face him, tears welling up in his eyes as he did so. Looka, he said, reaching out to grasp his injured arm and singing. Your remarks strike deeply. Zabuza's gaze shifted to Haku's body and said, It hurt him to hurt you. Deeper than any blade. He grinned as the boy's cloak started to fall away and said, I'm glad I met you idiots. Using just his teeth, he tore the bandages off his face and said, Got one last kunai. With a growl, Naruto tore one from his arms and held it up by its midsection, saying, I use them all up on you, you shark-teethed dumbass. With those teeth, Zabuza grabbed the hilt and started dismantling the mob. He took a few cuts and stabs, but at that point it didn't matter. Gato was his real target, and by the time he took too much damage, he was too close to be avoided. The little man was thrown off the bridge by the force he could muster in just his mouth, and his remaining mob surrounded and stabbed him. Remain focused, Kakashi said. I'm not, Naruto said, his cloak rising once more. Someone has to take responsibility for everything, and I never got to tear someone apart. I can take care of it, Kakashi told the youngster, extending one arm in front of him. I would like to. Did the fourth do this to me in order to turn me into a weapon? Naruto. Give me a break, you silver-haired man. Stop acting like you don't care about me. You were aware of who I am the entire time. It's written on your face. You all did, and you didn't even try to tell me, so feel free to take advantage of me the way Zabuza took advantage of Haku. His bloodshot eyes welled with tears, but at least Zabuza was truthful. He also cherished Haku. He was not hated by him. With a palm of pure chakra, he shoved him out of the way, saying, I don't need a false sensei. With the barrier gone, he lunged towards the bewildered throng. I failed you, sensei. Kakashi's only option was to watch helplessly as his student tore them apart, sometimes literally, breaking them with their weapons that bounced off the cloak when they could actually touch him. His arms, legs, tail manifestation, and teeth broke them apart. Blood gathered under his feet and strained his clothes, most of which sizzled at contact with his chakra cloak. When he was finished, Naruto squatted in the big pool of blood and swore. He observed Kakashi suspiciously as he approached, but he retreated at the sight of an extended hand, and it took him several seconds of staring at it before he could finally intrude into its range. Even though the cloak burnt his skin, Kakashi gave him a pat on the head and said, Naruto, you did a nice job. I apologize if I ever gave the impression that I detested you. He smiled broadly as the Nine Tails chakra vanished. It must have been excruciating, huh? For the first time in almost 10 years, he took up the youngster and hugged him as close as Minato had when he told him about Rin. You did what you had to, he said, walking back to the others who had withdrawn with Sasuke. The boy's sudden leap to embrace him almost made him chuckle. It's okay. Holy crap! Sakura gaped at the blood-covered Naruto in Kakashi's arms. What happened? I heard shouting, but Tazuna was supporting Sasuke, who was alive but not well. Naruto, to his chagrin, the child let go of their leader and embraced him, saying, Hey, I'm still injured. What's the main concept? He looked to Kakashi and frowned as he remembered his ostensibly last words. Don't get soft on me or cover me with that blood. What happened? Gato showed up with a mob, turned on Zabuza, Zabuza killed Gato, and the two of us took care of everyone else. He scratched his head. Naruto was going all out because he thought you died. You really need a fashion makeover and a shower, Sakura said, smirking at the blood all over his clothes. That's really sweet. I'm going to bury Zabuza and his friend. He didn't flinch at the glances he got. You never know when you'll die behind enemy lines or with people who don't know you. Best you can do is give them a shallow grave, hoping someone will do the same for you. He turned to Tazuna. There likely won't be any more attacks now that Gato's dead. The old man nodded. He began to walk, saying, I'll take the brats back to my place then. We could all use some rest. Come back soon. The group of 5 dispersed. That event would be referred to as the Wave Massacre going forward. There is a demon, a sacrifice, an unnecessary death, and the massacre that bears the same name in all of the accounts of what transpired. With everyone else dead, the only people who could provide an accurate report would be Team 7 and Tazuna. The next day was strangely gloomy. By all accounts, the land of the waves was spared, and they were successful in their purpose. Their impact didn't quickly disappear, with the exception of one man. It would take some time for the news of Gato's passing to go out and for the blockage to disappear in favor of other pursuits. Gato was still capable of acting since the circumstances that made him thus were still present. In actuality, the first step was finishing the bridge and getting rid of Gato. Stretched out in Tazuna's home's main hall, Sasuke had patches covering his superficial wounds. He watched Naruto leave the guest room wearing only his pajamas and without his forehead protector, not that he had anything else to wear, and said, those two were just the beginning. Let's train, he exclaimed as he moved forward, grinning broadly. We need to get stronger, Sasuke. When Sasuke opened his eyes to see Naruto's joyful face in view, he jabbed his pointer and ring fingertips into the middle of his forehead. Sasuke closed his eyes and leaned against the neighboring wall, saying, "Come here." Naruto took a step backward, his expression bewildered. "What was that for?" "Put on your forehead guard," Sasuke scowled. He laughed as he saw him scurry back into the room, saying, "Then we'll train." A part of him questioned whether the sensation of warmth in his chest preceded Itachi's act of unimaginable deeds. "There you are," declared Naruto, raising his palm to reveal his leaf shinobi insignia. What a loyal little guard dog, prizing his collar so much. Naruto's red eyes briefly flashed with rage, but he shook his head dismissively. The headband served as a representation of his achievement. It was not because of his status as a Jinchuriki. He couldn't lose that in any way. Sasuke inquired, "What's taking you so long?" Running outside, Naruto tied it over his forehead. "Nothing. Let's go." Like they normally did, the two went out and competed against one another. The following 13 days passed quickly for Team 7, despite being the longest of Tazuna's lengthy life. While the lads went about their daily business, Kakashi continued honing Sakura's foundational skills and teaching her how to employ optic delusory, a simple but effective genjutsu. Sometime after the massacre, Inari started going with his grandfather because he felt he had to at least do something. Before leaving the land of the waves via the recently constructed Great Kaiza Bridge, they paid respects to Zabuza and Haku's tombs. It would serve as a monument to fortitude and selflessness. Team 7 could see the gates to the Hidden Leaf Village. The time it took them to return was equal to the time it took them to reach the land of the waves. There were no bandits attacking or Chunin hiding as water puddles to lay in wait. Even though it was pleasant to have some calm, nothing much happened. Wearing soiled jammies, Naruto winced. "I was getting used to being away." "And used to those dirty clothes," Sakura remarked, glancing at his soiled attire. "Not my fault the wave is a damp dump with no clothing shops and one hot woman in it." Kakashi begged, "Please stay in your age range." If there were an afterlife, he would also have to explain to his mentor why he allowed his son to be deflowered by a lady who was several leagues above him. The bigger an age gap, the more disastrous a relationship is. The awkwardness of his trying to defend his own was already there. Seems like you're not ready for sex if you work for a Black Ops outfit where your duties include everything from terrorism to killing. Yes, he was attempting to block off the shame and dread that were slowly eating away at him. "I just want to grab some titties." Sakura held back a laugh as Sasuke shook his head. "And here I thought you wanted to be strong." He moaned, "Can't a man want both? But to grab titties, I must be strong. To be strong, I must not want to grab titties." His voice became glum. "This world is cruel." Sakura tilted her head. "Is love not important to you?" Naruto instinctively backed away from her smack, asking, "What do you think I mean by grabbing titties? You're almost there. Not enough to take down those water losers, but you can at least put up a fight. You'll be fine with a genjutsu and kunai. Naruto and I will draw attention while you flank," Sasuke stated, trying not to make eye contact with her reddening face. Sakura let out a sigh. "I'll need to learn more genjutsu then." The ninjas stationed as guards were more than capable of reaching them. "Holy shit," exclaimed one. "Kakashi? It's been nearly an entire month." The ninja with one eye lifted a hand to greet. Things got crazy. The others greeted each other as usual. Naturally, a lot of people disapproved of Naruto for reasons other than his worn-out appearance. On their walk to the mission desk, Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi observed the looks of curiosity. Their time apart revealed to them how much the Leaf villagers feared the boy dressed in orange most of the time. He had been accustomed to them and relaxed following the atrocity. Instead of his typical rage, he was flippant and cheerful, less abrasive than usual, but yet sufficiently Naruto to not bother them. They had to recontextualize a lot of things because of his response to Sasuke's supposed death. Kakashi concluded his verbal report to the third Hokage and all those in attendance by saying, "And then we came home." Sarutobi almost lost his pipe in his mouth. A mission to safeguard a bridge builder led to the death of one of the world's richest men, Zabuza, and the building of a structure that will have a long-term effect on the overall economy in the Land of Fire, needless to say on top of what impact Gado's death will have. It kind of sucked, but it did give us experience, Naruto stated. You got another one that'll take us out of here for a month. I don't think you realize the magnitude of what you've done. What was originally a C-rank mission turned into an A rank concerning the nation's personal interests. We have to renegotiate with Tazuna. Sakura did her best not to make eye contact with the most powerful Kage alive, saying, Lord Third, you aren't likely to get anything. The Land of the Waves is too poor at the moment. I'd say maybe in a couple of years. Sasuke gave a nod. It didn't take Gado long to suck up the wealth from it, but it's easier to raise than it is to build. Naruto groaned. They're okay people, save one, I guess. Really wished I tried something on Tsunami, even if she would have said no. Kakashi laughed. The decision ultimately lies with you, Lord Hokage. I made the choice to see the mission through, and I take full responsibility. You're reckless, Kakashi, but I can't punish you for something that benefited us. The elderly gentleman laughed. Gado's company fractured after his death, which means competitive prices and an end to a potential monopoly on shipping. There will be turmoil for a time, yes. With machinations, every village will make it so the outcome benefits us most of all. All's well that ends well. Just make sure the children don't fight over the money. Said children approached the pay station with puzzled expressions on their faces. Equipped with the knowledge of the mission rank increase and its problems, the worker in charge performed some calculations. He disappeared into another room and returned holding a luggage. He opened it so they could view it by plunging it onto the stand. Fuck me, Naruto exclaimed. Are we rich? Sakura nearly drooled. That's around 500,000, right? We don't need to be concerned about ninja weapons or scrolls anytime soon, Sasuke added, feeling extremely wealthy after inheriting the entire clan's fortune. His eyes slid to Naruto. You can take my cut if you need it. He sneered. I'm not taking your money. You died for a minute, man. Sakura collected a stack of notes and flipped a finger through them, saying, It's weird how cute you two caring about each other is. They both turned to face each other. She took a quick look at Naruto's torn pajamas. We are definitely going shopping for new clothes first. I'm not your dress-up doll. Smugness filled her eyes to overflowing. If you were, you wouldn't have worn that disastrous white-collar orange jacket. It wasn't that bad. Naruto, Sasuke remarked, you looked like you gave up partway through your color scheme and went for the first thing you thought would look cool. But it actually looks stupid if you looked at it for more than a couple of seconds. Wow, you actually said something insulting I have no comeback for. Sakura celebrated Sasuke's achievement, but Kakashi and Sarutobi proudly looked forward. They've grown closer and Naruto has eased up quite a bit. I knew you were the right man for the job. His one glance conveyed to the elderly Kage what he meant to say, there's something I need to tell you away from prying eyes and keen ears. He got up and said, meet me at my office. The other official took his place. As he headed to his group, Kakashi exclaimed, all right, watching them carry the unkempt young man out, he said, you're dismissed. Feel free to dress up Naruto or whatever it is you kids want to do, before making his way to the Hokage residence. When Kakashi entered, Sarutobi was alone with his paperwork. What happened? Did you hear about the Wave massacre? I know you and your team were involved for sure now. Save what you told me, I've heard nothing but rumors and conjecture. Kakashi looked down. Naruto's seal loosened, and he manifested a cloak of the Nine Tails chakra. What? He was under the impression Sasuke Uchiha died. They've been growing closer ever since they made my team. Whatever he felt was powerful enough to summon the power of the Nine Tails. Kakashi pursed his lips under his mask. It was just one tail, but that means it'll go to 9 if he draws enough from it. I take it Naruto alone fought Gado's mob then. Kakashi nodded. Using a hand full of pure chakra, he grabbed me and pushed me aside so he could kill them all by himself. This is it, Sarutobi said, putting his hands together. Has he shown it again since then? Not that I'm aware of. It appeared to react to his rage, ebbing and flowing in response to provocation and ease. Since then, I haven't seen him get upset. I'm not sure if verifying that notion at this time is the best course of action. It looked like he was doing so well, Sarutobi said, shaking his head. He is. I believe we haven't grasped the extent of his pain, Kakashi chuckled. You ought to have witnessed him when I gave him praise. Deep down, he's longing for acknowledgement or some kind of acceptance, but I doubt he'd see a point in that, he said, glancing at his burnt hand. He actually blushed. Perhaps Naruto will finally come to understand it because of his relationships with his allies. In the event that the Nine Tails power resurfaces, you know exactly what to do. I will dispatch a master of sealing jutsu to examine the seal. Knowing exactly who he was talking about, Kakashi closed his eye and said, that might take a long time. He always shows up when it's needed, Sarutobi groaned. Oh, I know. You've been fired. After nodding, Kakashi departed the office. That man was rational and unreasonable depending on the scenario and subject involved, and he would have enough to say about Naruto's current position. Unfortunately, this was also a delicate situation and issue, so it would be interesting to see what would happen. The shop where Naruto got his original outfit was dismissed by default, and anything that Naruto found passable was really unacceptable. Sakura and Sasuke, but mostly Sakura, spent almost an hour dragging Naruto around the village in search of a male specialty clothes shop they found passable. When they finally found one that sold high-quality ninja-type clothing, all three of them exhaled with relief. Am I presentable now? Naruto exclaimed as he emerged from the booth, decked out in an orange vest, blue sandals, and a blue undershirt. He held up his two middle fingers in a posture. Sakura nuzzled her chin, perhaps the orange pants would work better. This is fine, Sasuke stated, sounding almost as eager to finish as Naruto. Mobile and flexible. Your slacks and jacket were making you move more slowly. Sakura pointed to the mirror and said, look at how much the white collar took away. Glancing at his reflection in the glass sheet, Naruto rolled his eyes and said, damn. Tsunami wouldn't have turned me down if I asked her out looking like this. You almost slammed her only child's head against their dinner table, Sakura said deadpan. You also told him he should kill himself if he didn't stop whining. I think he started leaving his residence because he was acting a little weird. Old man Hokage's grandson, Naruto said, turning to his colleagues' perplexed expressions. You should look at Konohamaru. I almost did the same thing, and he's now on the road to success. Naruto blinked in response to their suffering. What? Is he aware? Sakura inquired. He was there. Oh my fuck. What is your relationship with the Hokage where you can almost physically harm his grandson, act out in his presence, commit high treason, and still be on good terms with him? Sasuke asked, tilting his head and looking directly at him before speaking. Oh yes, tell them and see if you're still tolerable. It wasn't a flat-out lie. Naruto wasn't sure the old man truly cared for him since he first spoke with the fox. And I didn't commit high treason, I was tricked into committing high treason on someone else's behalf. He shrugged, almost driving his fist into the mirror. Did you honestly think that anyone could get away with robbing the Hokage of his scroll of prohibited jutsu? Sakura gave him a suspicious look. He half-lied, saying, I really wanted to get out of that filthy academy. Plus, if they could pull anything like that off, wouldn't you make a civilian shinobi? Whether you like it or not, I did make genin for it. Sets a bad precedent, hummed Sasuke. Naruto led them to the counter, saying Old Man Hokage has been a shinobi for a long time. He reached out his hand to Sakura, who was holding the luggage, saying, I'm sure he knows what he's doing. He felt a bundle in his hand and removed the cost of his costume, giving it to Sakura. Where should we go for dinner now? She said. Ikaraku. Every time he said that, they ate there. Naruto raised his fist in the air in victory. That's exactly what we've received each and every time. She turned to face Sasuke, her other teammate. What would you like to get? Shrugging, he said, whatever. So how about we go? Sakura asked, giving them the please stop you never make up your mind expression as she dozed asleep. I don't really know. With a groan, Naruto lowered his fist and began guiding them out the door. Ikaraku ramen, Ikaraku ramen. At that point, he was familiar with the route by heart, wherever he was in the community. As they left, the counterman gave them a quick check inside the changing room and said, ninjas, did you forget your clothes? Say, keep them, Naruto declared. Sakura apologized and looked embarrassed with a smile. Sorry, Sasuke interjected, saying, I don't even know why people wear pajamas anyway. They closed the door and left the man with the castaways of the delinquent ninja. His boss would save them in a container and hope to throw them at them if they ever returned. But he never would because Sakura was a woman, Naruto Uzumaki liked cheap places, and Sasuke had an entire clan's worth of clothing left over for himself. It became a custom, but also a strange one, to show off as a testament to their exceptional craftsmanship. Sarutobi was still in his office at sundown. The paperwork of the Hokage was never finished, a byproduct of a centralized government. One could assign other, weaker men to the paperwork, or even clones, but that was probably not going to yield much. Tabarama bluntly told him that Hashirama's clones most of the time made mistakes on purpose to end their torturous, pointless lives. The younger brother had to set the older one down for a serious talk about accountability. An equally old face appeared from the shadows as the office door opened, an old scar on his chin still there, refusing to go away, one tired but stern eye, part of his face bandaged away from a long since healed war wound. Danzo, the third, said, I hope the next words that come out of your mouth aren't what I think they are. Hiruzen, I fear they might be. He wasted no time in answering the cage's inquisitive glare, saying the Nine-Tails seal is weakening, and his vessel is a fragile boy. Other than myself, you are the one that knows me best. I previously informed you. I'm not going to tell you again. Someone must watch him. Sarutobi puffed on his pipe. Kakashi Hatake is already safeguarding him. I believe you have trust in his abilities. I'm afraid Kakashi is compromised in this matter. If he cannot be replaced, he must be kept in line by someone else. Someone the both of you will accept. Danzo closed his eye at his old friend's questioning ones. The man with wood jutsu. I'm surprised by your recommendation. There is no one else with the ability to suppress a tailed beast. He may be Kakashi's ally, but he is not biased towards the child. Danzo opened his eye. It's in the village's best interests he be involved as a failsafe. That may very well be a wise choice regarding this matter. Sarutobi sighed. If someone Naruto cherishes dies, it may damage the seal even further. All of Team 7 could have been wiped out with the exception of him. Having them shadowed by a powerful operative would prevent the chances of that ever happening again. Nodding, Danzo turned to the door. I'm glad you see things my way for once. Before you go, Sarutobi said, I need you to promise me something. You know I can't keep any, Hiruzen. If anything happens to me, I want you to leave the boy be. Danzo looked at his old friend from the corner of his eye. He holds the power of the Nine Tails, and it won't take much for him to turn against this village if he feels threatened. He is already despised and an outcast. Bringing him into your fold will only push him over the edge. Sarutobi's gaze softened. I trust your intentions, as despicable as your actions may be. Trust mine. Why this boy? You've already seen hundreds die, used and discarded. What is special about him? He puffed his pipe and looked down at his desk. He was never given a choice to be a weapon. Just so happens he made the decision to become a shinobi on his own. If I can give him something, I will give him the choice to decide on which type he is. I'll think about it, Hiruzen. He opened the door. The village's best interests come first, always. He stepped out and vanished in the dark before shutting the door. Sarutobi shook his head. The old, young, and brash Danzo would have never imagined himself to be what he was now. It was ironic how Sarutobi would have loved him to stay that way when they despised each other mutually. Both lived through Ninja World War to Ninja World War up until that point. Sarutobi would have stayed in retirement had it not been for the fourth Hokage's death at the hands of the Nine-Tailed Fox. While he wished Danzo would stop his meddling when died or stopped his administration, he knew he wouldn't. He could only hope his old rival died before he did or returned to some semblance of decency, both far-off possibilities considering their personalities. Several days passed since their return. Team 7 spent most of its time either training or doing missions, just as they had before. Naruto, feeling especially antsy for various reasons, insisted they spend a few nights or even entire days in the village woods. Sakura didn't want to worry her parents, and Kakashi had smut he couldn't enjoy to its fullest if he had to oversee them, so Sasuke alone went to keep his fellow orphan company. Naruto was watching the stars in his sleeping bag as Sasuke was already fast asleep in his own. "I can barely land a single hit now." He frowned, recalling their spars since the massacre. While he could still get him into holds, he learned to break out by attacking and disengaging before his body went taut. Only when he blindsided him or attacked when he blinked could he get the upper hand. Fucking Sharingan. You should kill him while he's asleep. After all, you're too weak to beat him outright ever again. He rose from his bag and walked to the direction of a nearby river. Shut up. Another thing you need me to do that you can't do on your own. I'm going to rip you out of me and kill you myself, you piece of shit. Naruto reached the riverbank, sat down, and leaned over the flowing water to see himself with red eyes. What? The beast laughed. I've always been a part of you. Rage, anger, and hatred. This body. We share many things. His whisker marks deepened before he splashed himself with the cold water, the shock of it taking away his burning feelings. What did you do? Taking deep breaths, he calmed himself down. It's this seal. It was made to blend our chakras together and weaken over time to give you power. Took little over half a decade for you to hear my voice and visit. Now you can manifest a cloak of my chakra with a single tail. That yellow dipshit. Naruto dunked the top of his head in the flowing ice-cold water, his eyes flickering between red and blue in the moonlight reflection. Really couldn't let me have anything to myself. My mind, my body, my life. He pulled himself out. I'm going to take all of it back and make them regret everything. You die if I am ever freed from you, and the fourth is dead, so good luck with that. I'll find a way. He turned to go back, but splashing contrary to the stream's natural noise drew his attention. Drawing chakra to his limbs, he jumped to and swung from tree to tree using himself as a vine, appearing like a monkey with no patience for the foliage to accommodate him. He stopped some ways from the end of a waterfall and saw a lithe figure bounce from the ball of 1 foot on the water to the other towards it. When she reached the center of the forming river, she turned her body and stood evenly on both feet, suspending her above the water. She shifted her weight to 1 foot before using it to launch herself up. Her body twisted in the night air as her arms circled. She returned to a neutral position and landed on her feet, droplets of water forming a sphere she used the motions of her entire body to create. Wow! Naruto clapped his hands and smiled while the figure glanced at his direction. That while he paused as it jumped into the other side of the forest. Beautiful. Groaning, he headed back to his sleeping bag. The morning after they spent eating their packed meals. Ramen in a thermos for Naruto and rice balls in a wrap for Sasuke. While the air was chilly, it was exhilarating for them to be in. They set up a picnic tarp to sit on, which would make anyone who walked in on them mistake it for some kind of romantic date. I'm telling you, man. Naruto leaned his thermos and pulled out some noodles with his chopsticks. This looks really gay. And I don't mean those guys are too friendly gay. I mean those guys are so gay they came out here so no one would see them gay. Sasuke's eye twitched. You wanted to come out here, and when have you ever cared about what people think about you? He slurped some noodles and licked his lips. I care when it might lessen my chances of getting laid. He raised an eyebrow at his comrade's look. You of all people should care about having sex. It's not like your clan is going to reproduce itself. When Itachi is dead, I'll restore my clan. Sasuke's expression soured. I can't have children until I'm sure they're safe. But is making sure there's no more other Uchiha what he wanted? He left you alive. He told me he wanted to test himself against the clan. Said I was his last challenge. Wanted me to become as powerful as I could and face him. Naruto hummed. Not old man Hokage, other Kage, or even entire villages. That doesn't make sense. I'm starting to realize that now, but I don't have anything else to go off of. Itachi wasn't an idiot. Sasuke took a bite out of his rice ball, and I doubt anyone can fake a smile for every day of their entire lives. Something must have happened. I just don't know what. They ate in silence for a minute after. Not much else could be said after discussing the motives of a mass-murdering kinslayer. It started off tame in comparison. "Suu, you ever gonna fuck Sakura?" Sasuke nearly choked on his rice as he swallowed it. "What is it with you and sex? You're making me feel like the only guy in our class that hit puberty." Naruto's cheeks grew a pink tint. "I used to hang around the red light district a lot. Saw a lot of people have sex and thought it was weird. Moment my balls dropped, I understood everything, even the girls in black strips." He laughed. "It's why I stopped going as much. She's a comrade. I think getting involved that way will interfere with our missions, at least right now." Sasuke smirked. "Is there anyone you're interested in that's actually our age?" He shook his head, paused, and raised a hand to his chin. "I saw a girl by the waterfall last night. She was walking on the water, so she had to be a ninja." Smiling, he made her arm motions, thermos and chopsticks still in hands. The water moved with her. It was beautiful. He paused at Sasuke's confused stare. "What? All of that talk about wanting women with big breasts, and the one you're attracted to just moves in pretty ways. We're barely teenagers. I doubt there's any girl our age that can really fill a hand." Naruto scratched his whiskered cheek with a finger, and I couldn't really see her body in the dark or tell who she was. "Are you sure you just weren't dreaming or something? I heard that happens sometimes." Sasuke suppressed the curiosity he felt that inclined him to look anywhere close to his teammate's crotch. "If that were a dream, I would have thought I drenched my shorts when I woke up, because something definitely would have happened if it were." You were already thinking it?" Naruto sipped some soup from his thermos and looked around at their surroundings. "It's nice here, isn't it? Like Wave." Sasuke munched away the rest of his rice ball. The town was an eyesore. "What town isn't an eyesore? I mean the forest. You don't like being around people, do you?" Naruto nodded. "I said I hated almost everyone, and I meant it." He scowled. "There's always something stupid almost everyone is thinking or doing. They'll tell you live and let live, then turn around to say someone else should suffer. Tell you you're a weapon and tell you not to be one. Say people should be strong, but watch the words you use." Groaning, he let himself fall back on the tarp, looking up to the blue sky. "Is it hard to be honest? To not be a hypocrite? So what if I'm an asshole few people like? When I say something, people believe it and listen." "I never thought you were an asshole," Sasuke said, taking another rice ball in his hand. "I just thought you were too dumb to have restraint. From punching Iruka, jumping out the window, stealing from the Hokage, provoking me with Itachi, what you said about Sakura being incapable of defending herself, killing that Chunin that tried to ambush us, and attacking Zabuza without a second thought after he trapped Kakashi." He took a bite out of it, munched, and swallowed. "Almost like you're trying to get yourself killed." "This from the guy who took a blow that killed him for me?" Naruto grimaced at the memory. "Those last words of yours." "It was a spur of the moment," Sasuke said, grateful he couldn't see the red on his face. "Being around you doesn't make me feel alone. Obviously, someone is with you." Naruto laughed. "Yeah, stupid, I know." He lifted his upper body up and dug back into his ramen thermos. "Less fit ter 'tis. Don't talk while you eat." Sasuke finished his rice ball. "USND lick aim." "That's because I'm trying to stop you from choking." Naruto swallowed and looked at what he had left. "I might have to swing by Ikaraku for some more." He looked up to Sasuke and his rice balls. "You up for staying out here for a while? When we're not doing missions or training with Sakura and Kakashi-sensei, I mean. Not like I have anyone waiting for me back home." Sasuke hummed, "But if neither of us bathes, we're going to stink." "Oh yeah, bathing." Sasuke shot him a look. "You need to take better care of yourself. Now you sound like Iruka-sensei." Naruto sighed. "Let's pack up and leave after we're done with some sparring. Don't want to give people the wrong impression, do you?" the ladies at least. I thought they actually liked that sort of thing. Naruto raised an educated finger. They like seeing guys together, but they don't actually like the idea of being with a man that also goes with guys. He lowered it. I don't get it because a girl that goes with girls is a man's dream. In the end, we're different like that. Sasuke's eyes grew doubtful. I have never seen you interact with a woman in any meaningful way. How do you know? You don't need to be around girls all the time to know how they think. Like, let's talk about you and the girls you attract. Naruto smirked. No matter how you treat them, they will still simp for you because you're a pretty boy. Simp? Sasuke blinked. I'm a pretty boy? It means unrequited lovey-dovey dumbass who still goes for someone that shows no interest, especially if they've said no. Naruto frowned and scoffed. And yes, you're a dude who can probably pass for a chick. They love that. Don't ask me why. Girls are weird. It was Sasuke's turn to smirk. What does that make you? A social outcast. An average social outcast, so my chances in the village are super low. Girls like bad boys, but not bad boys that will make them look bad for being with. I know it sounds confusing, but that's just how they are. Social outcasts just attract other social outcasts. Never met anyone who was as much as an outcast as I was in the village, so I'm probably shit out of luck. Never thought I'd hear you give up on something. Who says I'm giving up? Naruto laughed. I just need to show how much better I am than everyone or go out of the village. Bound to meet someone one of these days who wants me, but I can go without. I'm used to being alone. So am I. Closing up his thermos, Naruto put his chopsticks away and stood up. You ready for a fight? Yeah. Sasuke's eyes whirled, revealing his stage 2 Sharingan. Are you? He pushed himself up and followed him away from their camping site. They fought, packed up, reported for their terrible D-rank mission, completed it, and trained again. Unbeknownst to them, summoning birds flew the sky. Their purpose was lost on most people, but known by high-ranking Chunin and Jonin. It was the beginning of a Chunin Exam that would forever be remembered and lamented by everyone involved. Naruto was heading to Ikaraku's sometime in the afternoon, following his team's customary post-mission training. Kakashi held Sakura back so she could study more genjutsu, and Sasuke wanted to wash off the day's filth. It was the hollow feeling in his chest that bothered him more than the glances he was getting. Then he noticed someone hidden by a fence holding Konohamaru up. He did not waste any time. At the sight of a pair, he jumped on it, made 2 clones, and descended onto them. A clone used its chakra to bind the blonde girl's attempt to unfold a fan, causing it to fall to the ground, while the other pulled a kunai and placed it on her throat. Konohamaru was unable to respond when Naruto pushed him to the ground while placing one foot on the back of his head and the other against a wrapped burden on his back, since the person holding him was wearing a hood that limited his field of vision. "Boss," said Konohamaru, who was covered in bandages and a sweatshirt. "I heard you were back." Naruto turned his back on him to focus on the man under his feet. "Move and I kill your girlfriend." He exclaimed, "She's my sister." At the same time, she exclaimed, "He's my brother." Oh! The 3 Narutos gave the girl a thorough examination. "Can I go out with her? Just kill me and get it over with, because that would be less painful than dating a dirty runt like you." As Konohamaru got up from the floor, he noticed the look of dismay on the faces of the different Narutos. He blinked and said, "You can do better, bosses." "Wait, what?" The genuine one turned red as he gazed into the man's eyes and said, "Shut up." He stepped away from him and gave a non-aggressive shake of his head. "The only one who gets to push Konohamaru around is me." He looked up at the man, who was standing there with a Sand Village forehead protector on his hood, and said, "Really, what are you doing? Are you invading us?" "I'd start with the grown-ups first, Kabuki face. I mean, they can actually fight back." He looked at his sister and said, "You're a real funny guy." He also twitched his fingers. One stone grazed his shoulder and the other went by the girl's face, screaming, "Fucking Uchiha!" Sasuke, seated on a tree branch and seeming more youthful than his teammate, responded, "I take offense to that." He threw some stones into the air and managed to catch them. "He looks nothing like me." The blonde girl blushed at the sight of Naruto and his clones. One of the clones slapped the hostage until it was slapped out of existence, punctuating his assertion, "I have this entire situation under control. Mostly under control." The strangely attired man lifted the swathed object from his back. "You bastards," his sister questioned Kankuro, "are you really going to use Karasu?" A quiet voice behind Sasuke ordered, "Stop it. You're both disgraces to our village." They turned and saw a red-haired boy with a gourd on his back and the character for love etched over his left eye hanging upside down on a limb with his feet. Kankuro swallowed a lump in his throat and said, "Gee Gara. Starting a fight you couldn't win, how pathetic. Do you even remember why we came here?" They stopped. "Shut up," he said, his expression emotionless. "I'll kill you." Kankuro bent his head and said, "I'm sorry." His sister did the same, and the last clone, its mission accomplished, scattered forth. "I'm sorry too." Gaara's form wavered between them. "Let's go." Before you do, Sasuke's body flashed himself to Naruto's side. "Why are you here? Shinobi from other villages aren't allowed in without permission." With streaks of pink on her face, the girl waved and said, "I'm Temari." She bowed her head an inch and said, "We're here to take the Chunin exams. You're Genin too, right? Maybe we'll see each other there." "I am Gaara of the desert," he replied, disregarding Temari. "Who are you two?" "Sasuke Uchiha." The other guy gave himself a thumbs up. "Naruto Uzumaki." Gaara's body flickered away one last time with a hum, and the other two sand villagers followed suit. The beast inside Naruto moved but remained silent, and its host showed no interest in speaking to it at the time. Konohamaru leaped into the air and exclaimed, "That was fucking awesome. Are you going to beat that fire crotch weirdo boss?" Naruto nodded to Sasuke after exchanging glances with him. He turned to his idol, "No more waste of time D-ranks. We make Chunin and never have to deal with them again. Been a while. Are those bandages real?" Well, no." Naruto pointed a thumb at Sasuke and said, "Konohamaru, I told you there's no shortcuts to getting what you want. I was getting into fights every time when I was your age. If you can't find yourself someone to keep pace with, just start shit with people. You're the Hokage's grandson. You'll get away with it." He gave a nod. He hurried off, promising to hit everyone, saying, "I'll find myself a gloomy douchebag or just punch everyone." Sasuke questioned, "Was that really the best thing to tell him?" Seeing his teammate's expression, Naruto groaned, "I came out just fine, didn't I? Oh come on, I wasn't that bad." Aware that the boy in orange was going to Ikaraku's, Sasuke began to guide him the remainder of the journey. "You jumped out of a window. What does that have to do with anything? It's the first thing that comes to mind when I think about how you were before the fight on the Kaiza Bridge, other than you punching Uruka. One time, just the one time, you still did it." Naruto picked at the back of his skull. He rambled. He had a lot he was not yet ready to discuss. He never wanted to do the thing that was causing those outbursts. It was just one of those things, Sasuke. All he could reply was an unheard, suspicious murmur. After eating at Ikaraku's, they left for their flats. A message instructing each Team 7 member to meet their sensei the next morning was discovered on their front door. They really doubted he'd be there, but there was a particular time for it. As usual, Team 7's genin arrived at the designated meeting spot much ahead of their jonin. During their wait, they talked about other unimportant topics or strategies to counteract jutsu. They both quickly forgot the fundamental genjutsu release technique that Sakura had taught them a while ago. Shinobi rarely employed genjutsu, and she felt the academy did not cover the subject sufficiently. All Kakashi needed to defeat Zabuza, dubbed the Demon of the Mist, was to use her most elementary genjutsu, which was all he needed to survive. "Good morning to all of you," Kakashi exclaimed as he appeared at the top of the closest torii gate. "Sorry I'm late. I got lost on the path of life." Sakura questioned, "Why do you even bother at this point?" He lowered himself and shrugged. "Habit. This is a bit sudden, but I nominated you guys for the Chunin exams." Fishing 3 papers from his pockets, he handed them out, and they all took them. "This almost makes up for how much you've been focusing on Sakura," Naruto replied, beaming at the piece of paper. He turned to the girl with the pink hair and said, "It's just a nomination. You have to actually pass it. And I've been focusing on Sakura because she needed more help than the both of you." Though she almost hung her head, she proudly held it high. "I'm not the girl who fainted and did nothing during the bell test anymore. This time, we're going to blitz through this thing." "You're correct," Sasuke remarked. He gazed at their Jonin. "But it would have been nice to learn a jutsu or two other than the body flicker." "Look, I know how enticing the idea of learning new jutsu can be, but you have to realize knowing a lot of jutsu doesn't make you a good shinobi." Kakashi's gaze was both warm and serious. "Basics and fundamentals will get you farther than knowing how to spit fire and shoot lightning." He turned to Naruto. "I'm not sure if you've realized it, but you already know the best jutsu a taijutsu specialist can have. Creating clones just as skilled as you. You've been so focused on overcoming Sasuke outright you haven't used your shadow clones to your advantage. There is no one you will have better coordination with than yourself. Fight smarter, not harder." He turned to Sasuke. "And you are just as straightforward. The Sharingan is a powerful Dojutsu, but it can only carry you so far. One day, you will encounter an enemy you can't see through or fight directly. Your fire ninjutsu are powerful, but they're draining. Make an opening, trap your enemy, and burn them to dust." Sakura questioned, "And I guess I should just keep playing support." He looked at her. "You are all supporting each other. Naruto and Sasuke covering each other, and you while you cover for them. I haven't been teaching you anything special because you already have what you need. Understand?" He nodded along with everyone else. His figure flickered away from them and onto a branch not too far away. "Sign those papers and turn them in at room 301 by 4 p.m. tomorrow if you want to enter the Chunin exams." A man wearing a green cat mask sat on the limb and remarked, "Kakashi, it's been a while." "Tenzo, what are you doing?" He got up and asked, "Did Lord Hokage not tell you? I've been assigned to help keep an eye on Naruto Uzumaki in case he manifests the Nine Tails chakra." "Since when?" Tenzo scratched the back of his head and said, "This morning? Sorry if it's a little sudden." Kakashi's eyebrow went up. "I didn't think Lord Third would be concerned enough to have you shadow Naruto. He's likely to be taking the Chunin exams. Seems like that's why he assigned me. Who knows what's likely to happen? Better to be safe than to be sorry. All right, don't expect him to be pleased if he discovers you're following him." He gave him a quick glance, sensing that he was hiding something. The kid stole the scroll of seals beneath everyone's noses. Jonin Anbu, Inuzuka trackers, and Aburame trackers couldn't find him before Oroka did, and that was after he learned the Shadow Clone Jutsu. "Oh yeah, I was out of the village for that. How the hell did that happen?" Kakashi gave a shrug. "Naruto's got excellent stealth skills. He just doesn't care to use them unless he has to. Given a choice between violence and secrecy, he's all for violence." He moved his fingers to make the hand seal, but something seized his wrist. "Looks like he's leaving now." "Kakashi?" "Tenzo, he's Minato's son. Have faith. If you interfere without good cause in the exams, you'll ruin it for him. You're likely to even harm his relationship with Lord Third. I'm not asking you to not do your job, but I am asking you to complete it with as little interference as possible. Do you understand me?" "Yeah, I do, Kakashi." He released it. Making the tiger seal disappear, he said, "Don't let me keep you." While talking with his two comrades, Tenzo turned to face Naruto in the distance and said, "I haven't seen you anywhere near that level of emotion since I made the mistake of bringing up Rin." He moved to a better, hidden vantage point and observed, saying, "Guess I'll get to see firsthand what makes you such a lovable little delinquent." Their stay in the Anbu was a difficult but crucial moment in their lives. Kakashi's self-described competitor, Might Guy, begged the third Hokage to free him, valid concerns of his deteriorating mental condition. Tenzo witnessed it for himself, therefore he didn't object. Although it was heartbreaking to see him go, he had come a long way in the years. Now all he could hope was that the man wasn't too soft. When they returned the next morning, the academy was crowded with both foreign and domestic ninja. If one was acquainted with the academy, it was a strange sight. For the most part, folks thought it was a depressing place to be. It was a ray of enthusiasm for once. Graduation day had no comparison at all. They noticed a group of ninjas gathered around the doorway of a classroom marked 301 on the second floor. Team 7 tried not to laugh as they made their way through the mass of pitiful, presumably brain-damaged ninja explanations. Among them, one appeared to identify a participant in the action taking place directly outside. They recognized him too, regrettably. Naruto Uzumaki, the orange-clad boy who was escorting them to the third-floor stairwell, stopped. The last dead failure? A chilly voice questioned. I remember that one. A feminine voice chuckled. Even I managed to make a single clone. To think they let a worthless failure like you pass out of pity. Sakura and Sasuke turned to scowl at the well-known face, but they were distracted by an echoey smash to their right. The wall where Naruto's fist was lodged had fractures running from top to bottom. With a squelch and the pitter-patter of blood on the floor, his hand was released. He continued to walk without saying anything, inhaling deeply to make the features impacted by Nine Tails disappear. A foreign ninja with brain injury expressed what the others were all thinking. Holy shit! The boy in orange saw a green blur go through the crowd and stop in front of him, his eyes returning to blue. Fight me, Naruto. He pressed his forehead protector up against the boy's bare forehead, gazing right into his eyes, saying, bushy brows, please, not now. Leaning to view the other two members of Team 7, he asked, restraint, are you Naruto Uzumaki? When he saw Sakura, he nodded off and said, this is... Hi, my name is Rock Lee. He blinked as the person who had previously captured his interest brushed by. Wait, Naruto, Sasuke inquired, casting a quick glance at the aftermath of his most recent outburst. How do you know Naruto? Good old dead last, the squad girl asked as she approached them. He was in our class group, and he was one hell of a delinquent. She looked at the wall. Don't tell him I said that. Name's Tenten. He was a worthy opponent and a fellow determined rival of Neji, Lee stated. He peered at the broken wall and said, but his behavior and grades got him sent back a year. I am pleased to see he has improved phenomenally since our time together. She also joined in on the wall staring, saying, I'm Sakura Haruno. If you know Naruto, you know he doesn't know when to stop. Sasuke scowled. He was going to ask, but looked to Lee instead, saying, he's been holding back on me. I'm Sasuke Uchiha. He bowed, saying, please, fight me. I have a teammate to check up on. Lee took a straight stance. His eyes flared with determination that can wait. I wish to test myself against someone of Naruto's new strength. 5 minutes, just 5 minutes of your time. After glancing back for a short while, Sasuke shrugged. He said, sure, why not? And Sakura followed him despite her worries about Naruto. On the other hand, Kakashi was in an open hallway and Naruto was staring down the room on the 3rd floor. What are you doing here? His gaze lingered on the trail of blood behind him, clearly from his own bloodied hand, and asked, what happened to you? None of your fucking business. He walked forward, but a put-out hand stopped him. What? You can only take the test with a team of 3. What? Kakashi's eye grew worried as Naruto started to shake. I didn't want anyone to feel pressured, specifically Sakura. Did they not come? He leaped onto the railing and sat down, hanging his legs over the edge, saying, they're here. He inhaled deeply as he looked up at the clear blue sky. Just fucking around with some old dipshits I know for some retarded reason. Not friendly, huh? Naruto said. I want to rip his eyes out and feed them to him. That was one of the worst years of my entire life. This place has been host to a few. Would burn it down if I could. Kakashi jumped over and sat next to him, saying, you know that won't solve your problems or why you feel about it the way you do. It's not like you're here for another year. It's just for the Chunin exams. His gaze never left the scene above him. I hate this place. Heard you the first time. That's not what I meant. They sat silently together. While Naruto was reverting to his former personality, a part of Kakashi wanted to explore farther. This time, he was unaware of the true cause of the problem. Naruto was unwilling to discuss it in any case. After a while, all of Team 7 appeared. Naruto shifted on the railing and noticed a battered Sasuke saying about damn time. That douchebag Neji kick your ass? Lee was his response. Sakura murmured. Was Neji Sasuke before you met Sasuke? Not at all, he said, and Kakashi went to sleep as well. All three of us needed to check in. Turns out you can only take this test in teams of 3 for some retarded reason. He was grinning. Remember, teamwork. I know. Naruto stepped closer to the entrance as Sasuke and Sakura pushed the doors open. Let's do this. As they reached the room for the Chunin exams, they noticed throngs of ninja inside who were probably not brain injured. From the village hidden in the rain to the village hidden in the clouds, it was unusual on earlier occasions but common for Chunin exams, and among them were their former classmates. Sasuke, exclaimed Ino, leaping to seize the Uchiha from behind only to be struck in the stomach. When she landed, she took a step back. You ugly forehead. Sakura covered her face with her hands while acting shocked. My fist moved on its own. I've been training so hard and fighting by Sasuke for so long. Leaning against a nearby wall, Shikamaru inquired, you guys are taking this troublesome test too. As usual, Choji was on his right, chowing down on chips. Naruto asked, glancing between the 3 Team 10. More like Team Weakling. The 3 of you look exactly the same as when you left the academy. Shikamaru let out a moan. Some things never change. Like you, I mean. Sasuke said, I'm with him, averting their gaze. The 3 of you look pathetic. I'm surprised one of you hasn't gotten killed. All right, the Nara blinked as Ino lost confidence. Kiba approached, Hinata and Shino trailing him. Hey, he called out to the other 6. Looks like our entire class is taking the exam. I wonder how far we'll get. He turned to their class best student. He winced as the Uchiha sneered, Sasuke? We did a lot of training. We're not going to lose to you. Did your team face down a Jonin and save your team leader? Did you complete an A-rank mission? The majority of their classmates shared the expression on the Inuzuka's face no. Then just shut the fuck up, Naruto replied with a sly smile. He was pleased that his conceit was making his teammates laugh. He chuckled and pointed a blood-stained finger at Kiba. If your experiences amount to chakra-less bandits and wood dummies, you're not gonna last 2 minutes against us. Sasuke gestured to the orange-clad boy with his thumb. Him and I alone can run through the 6 of you. With Sakura, it's not even a fight. We can't be stopped, Sakura added, blushing. Shikamaru regarded the strange pair while chuckling. Since when were you 2 friends? They exclaimed, we're not friends, simultaneously. Kiba shook his head, never thought I'd see the day. His nose wrinkled. Also, your unstoppable orange jackass is bleeding. After retrieving bandages from a satchel, Hinata moved in his direction. Naruto, give me your hand. She attempted to ignore the looks from everyone but him she got. They rarely witnessed their interactions, and the one occasion when they did, she fled. He shrugged and held it out. Their previous classmates observed that the loudest and quietest person sat together. Years ago, she had wrapped the absorbent cloth packed with medicine at the tips of his fingers to his wrist. He remained motionless, holding his hand in the comfortable places. Their eyes remained fixed on them when they had done. Naruto stood up and said, "What the hell are you all looking at?" When Hinata got up too, he turned to face her. "I'm not going to go easy on you." Kiba moved forward and exclaimed, "Hey!" But his comrade stopped him with an arm. With a trace of blush, Hinata retreated and joined her squad, saying, "I don't expect you to. I want to fight you to the fullest too." Head leaning over Ino's shoulder, Sakura did so. Is it me, or is she flirting with him in his language? Ino gave a shrug. She blinked. She's usually quiet or stuttering. Wait a minute. Why are you acting like we're friends? Women, stated Shikamaru. Sasuke gave a nod. I don't know why you want a girlfriend so much, Naruto. I just want to feel some titties, man. When Sasuke said, "Yet the waterfall girl in your dreams just moved pretty," Hinata unintentionally froze. Naruto shook his head. I told you it wasn't a dream. I was awake. She was walking on water. It followed her with every move she made with her body. It was beautiful. Hinata? Kiba asked, gazing at the girl who was quivering and turning beet red. Shino took his glasses in and out. She showed him how to use her gentle fist, so he knew what was going on. She's fine, just give her time to process. Process what? Unsettling, Shikamaru murmured. Her act of kindness raised suspicions. When she heard Naruto's comments, her response was affirmation. Just troublesome. The question came from an unfamiliar shinobi wearing a leaf head protector. You guys are rookies just out of the academy, right? Screaming like schoolgirls, geez, this isn't a picnic. Ino scowled. Who do you think you are? I'm Kabuto, he said, adjusting his spectacles. Look behind you. Sakura, Shikamaru, and Naruto noticed Rain Ninja, who were stern and staring. Those guys, eh? Naruto exclaimed, hey pussies. He mocked as they turned away, asking, you just going to look all day, or are you going to do something? That's what I thought. Know your fucking place. I've been here 7 times. The exam is held twice a year, and this is my 4th. It's a bad idea to attract attention to yourself. He reached for a few cards. Want some info? To the dismay of the majority of the other Leaf Genin observing, Naruto smacked them out of his hands. Don't make this boring. Kabuto's gaze flickered to his empty deck of cards that had spilled out. He blinked as the attention turned to him. Well, I can tell you off the top of my head that there are ninja from all over here. All talented and skilled in different ways. Probably better than you. What? Shikamaru said, you fucking idiot, and everyone else agreed. When Naruto joined his fingers, Naruto's started to appear all over the room. For the exam, 150 genin were present in the room. At least one Naruto was staring at each of them. As they poofed, smoke was all that was visible for a full minute. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, they all said simultaneously, producing an unfathomably Naruto symphony. I'm going to take you down. Kakashi shook his head and leaned against the door. Beside him, changed into a teenage version of himself, Tenzo followed suit. That boy was something else entirely. Kabuto questioned, was that really necessary? Sasuke was smirking. You should have known not to the moment he slapped the cards out of your hand. The squad waiting on the second floor was let in when the door opened. Blue eyes met pure white for a minute. Apart from the second floor, they hadn't seen each other in years. Neither of them could ever forget. Naruto closed his when the fury grew too much. Thankfully, there was another puff of smoke in the teacher's section of the classroom, indicating that the exam was going well. I am Ibiki Marino. A man with a scarred face and a bandana covering his forehead exclaimed, supported by a group of men wearing like outfits. He picked out a wooden tab with a number on it and said, the examiner for the Chunin Exam's first test. Instead of your current seating arrangements, you will be assigned a number and take the seat in accordance with it. We will then hand out exams. An intense sense of unease replaced the exuberant, hot-blooded aura that surrounded Naruto. They had the impression that their death was imminent. Their hopes would all be dashed, and they would be condemned to an eternity of failure in the academy. The nine-tailed fox was laughing heartily within. Oh shit, here we go again, Shikamaru said, frowning as she saw Naruto trembling. One by one, they were assigned to seats. The proctor took satisfaction in his ability to break even the strongest wills when it was Naruto's turn. Not that he was in the mood to notice, but Hinata ended up in the seat to his right. To his left was a foreigner. Ibiki reviewed the regulations with the deceased, but the final one realized he was already lost. Begin. Naruto then banged his head into the desk at the table. He clenched his teeth and inhaled deeply to soothe himself. Though he loved to imagine it would, it didn't work. Conversely, Hinata had no problems at all with the test. Using her Byakugan, she wrote down the things she knew and took what she didn't. The kid she admired, whom she saw just on their graduation day, was the one she struggled with. They had no idea this side of him, but she understood that beneath his tough demeanor was compassion. She had to encourage him because he was not the kind to accept charity. She needed to say something, even though it was not what he wanted to hear. Are you? This week? Well, the meek one of all people is finally seeing the truth. Naruto's labored respiration gradually ceased. He raised his head to meet Hinata's gaze. His eyes still fixed on her, he tried her willpower. It was the sole method to assess her motives. Hinata stayed motionless. She knew what he was doing, even though she really wanted to. It would be different this time. She wouldn't back down when he tried to strike her or stare her down, and she would embrace his challenges when he presented them. She followed Kurenai's advice and went after her desires as it is what he would have done. A full minute later, Naruto nodded. With a reddening of her cheeks, Hinata nodded back in agreement with him. "Thanks. I see that you've changed since the academy." She nodded again, and the explanation was easy. She'd admired him from a distance, but a taste of his passion made her want more, even if it wasn't romantic. That's how he came upon her that night, and although it was awkward, she was flattered. Naruto leaned his elbow against the table and rested his chin on his hand, knowing that he would have to stake everything on the answer to the last question. Until then, he would have to restrain himself from giving up on himself, which he did with enough shame. After a while, the hour was almost up. The 10th question will now be asked. You must choose whether or not to answer this question. Ibiki disregarded the shouts of the other genin, saying, "If you choose to take it and answer incorrectly, you will lose the right to ever take the Chunin exam again. If you choose not to, your points will be reduced to 0 and you will fail along with your teammates." "Liars! There are a lot of people here who have taken the exam before," Kiba said, pointing at the man. "Simply put, bad luck. Everything follows my guidelines this year. I'm at least offering you a way out. Simply wait until next year if you don't want to take a chance. Those who wish not to take it, raise your hand. Go once your number has been verified." Naruto sat back in his seat, kicked up his legs, and flicked his pencil at the proctor, to the surprise of everyone else in the room. "How in the world was that?" "I'm just nudging you," Naruto scowled. "You're really not that great. I only freaked out because I'm terrible at exams. This whole thing is a load of bullshit." Ibiki narrowed her eyes and said, "Aren't you a brazen little bastard? The last Jin I faced down made a real attempt on my life. It will take more effort on your part for me to even remember your name." The proctor continued to stare as one genin after another failed, and he did so for an extended period of time. The tension between the two became so intense that it could be cut with a knife. Eventually, he closed his eyes and said, "To everyone who is still here, congrats on passing the first test." He spoke to a stunned audience of genin about the goal of the test to acquire information, the meaning of accepting risk behind the last question, showed them his torture scars as illustration of such risk, and wished them good luck. Subsequently, an object broke through the window, prompting the people from Naruto's last class to see if he was still seated. This is no time to be celebrating. The woman wearing fishnet stockings, a skirt, and a coat wrapped in a banner said, tossing the 2 kunai it was tied to at the room's ceiling and planting her foot on the floor to use the remaining momentum to whip her body straight. "Anko Mitarashi, I am the proctor for the second test. Let's move now." She gave a fist pump to the air and said, "Follow me." To her absolute surprise, Naruto leaped from his seat and gave her the same gesture in response. Fuck yeah! It was the beginning of another strange, protracted, and tragic relationship. It was also the beginning of the second test, the outcome of which would alter the course of far too many lives, as almost everyone looked on in horror at the female equivalent of their hot-headed delinquent complementing the other almost perfectly. A massive fence boundary existed in front of the 26 teams of genin that remained. Past it was a forest full of enormous trees, and as far as most of them knew, dangerous animals. On the interconnected chains there were warning signals. There were 6 locks on the first gate, along with a tag indicating potential hazard. Although excessive, there was a valid purpose for it. Enko grinned slyly and said, "Welcome to the second test stage, Arena 44, the Forest of Death. You'll find out for yourself why it's called that." Naruto rolled his eyes. "Bitch, please. I was more scared of the freaking paper exam." In the blink of an eye, Enko drew a kunai, hurled it at the boy's whiskered cheek, and was behind him. "Bitch, Grasping his shoulder and the other cheek, she asserted her power by dragging her tongue from his jaw to the gash she caused. "You're lucky I like you." He looked back and noticed her small blush. She then witnessed her draw another kunai when a foreign ninja killed the rising erection of the one with his blood on it by giving it back with her tongue of all things. In some way, the ninja said, "This is your kunai." Anko slid her tongue back into her mouth, flushed. She accepted it and held the two kunai together, saying, "Why thank you. But the next time you get behind me, I just might kill you." The stranger took a step back, covering her own very long tongue. She walked back to her crew, saying, "I just get excited when I see fresh blood, and you cut my hair. I couldn't help it." Kiba groaned. She was able to sense pheromones and certain feelings. "Those three really are freaks." "Naruto," hinted Hinata. Anko put away her kunai and grabbed some papers from her inner coat jacket, exclaiming, "This is going to be fun." "Let me explain. First, let me explain. I need you to sign these consent forms. Before we begin, some of you will die, and it would be a shame if I was held accountable for your bitch-ass selves." She went over the rules for disqualification, the competition for scrolls, the layout of the forest, and the objective to reach the tower. "Oh," she said, pointing to a distant tree branch. She smiled as almost everyone else made bewildered looks. "And unless the Hokage himself was here to permit your presence, you can fuck right off, you green cat mask bitch," she exclaimed. Her hand returned to her side as she shook her head, saying, "Yeah, you, I can see you. Fucking Anbu." The unfamiliar person hummed while completing her application. They also observed it, but they found nothing particularly interesting. Seemed much like a renegade or independent agent. They appeared interested in having someone take the test, whoever it was. If they were suspicious enough to merit a tail, they would have been taken into custody already. The teens received their scrolls and signed applications. To ensure that everyone had a somewhat equal shot, everybody received a gate. The only people with keys were the instructors who guided them to their designated doorways. They were all admitted simultaneously as well. Naruto slammed into his open palm, saying, "Let's fucking do this." Sakura scowled. "That woman was a little too close to you. And who was she talking about?" Squeezing his hands out, he said, "She had tits." "Nice big tits." Sakura twitched as Sasuke shook his head. He was interrupted by distant screams. "Focus on the goal at hand." He waved and said, "First, I need to take a piss." He knew his teammates would be upset if he did it in front of them. He moved to unzip his fly behind a tree, but heard the sound of rustling grass behind him, so he shifted into an elbow. A genin from Hidden Rain Village recoiled as he turned on his heel. After that, he kicked him in the stomach, knocking him flat on the ground, and then leaped onto his back. He scooped him up, hauled him outside, and tossed him to his teammates, saying, "I knew you were there, by the way." "Already?" inquired Sakura. She sealed several hands. "Let me figure out what he knows." "No need." He screamed as Naruto hopped over, knelt down, and broke one of his fingers. She flinched. "We're attracting attention this way, and isn't that a bit much?" "You've been on edge since we met Rock Lee's team," Sasuke murmured, putting a hand on his shoulder. One of the Rain Ninja's fingers was broken by Naruto. He turned to face their prisoner and said, "I know, but we need to know where the other two are." Sakura gestured to herself and the wriggling stranger, saying, "Genjutsu, mind rape." He winced at her disapproving look. "Only action you'll get anytime soon. Sorry." The ninja from Rain grunted. "I came here alone, you asshole. I don't have my scroll either, and I told them to go on ahead without me." Naruto drew a kunai, and Sasuke moved his arm to block his path. "I mean it. You're off-center. I'm not sure what's going on or what you're feeling, but we have more important things to do than torture some weakling." "Hey, fuck you, leaf brat. Are you sure you don't want me to?" Naruto asked. When his companion nodded, he shrugged and moved his hands to his fly. "At least let me take that piss." "What?" Sasuke replied, "Sure," and turned to leave him alone. Sakura followed him, holding back her laughter. The Rain Ninja literally started crying at the rude treatment he received. "No, Anuo," He was left covered in another man's excrement with fractured ribs, 2 broken fingers, and maybe a burst bowel. Nothing could restore his pride. His foe rendered him insane. As he raised his fly, Naruto laughed to himself. With the rest of his crew, he asked, "That guy was from the Hidden Rain village, right?" And they continued on their way. "Think he'd be used to it." Sakura laughed. "You're so awful." Sasuke refrained from showing the other two his smile. "Let's not waste any more." He was startled by a strong gust of wind. Being the closest to him and able to see his action, Sakura followed suit as he rolled to take refuge in the bushes. Naruto became the center of attention, and he was blown away and straight into a tree. "Son of a cunt," he exclaimed as he got to his feet and saw a massive snake that was as big as the forest roots creeping in his direction. He almost avoided a bite, but he didn't account for the snake's flexibility and lack of limbs. It curled its tail around his body. "Ah, fuck. Ah," he exclaimed, catching a glimpse of its mouth. "Fuck." The environment around him turned pink and wet as it engulfed him completely. The tailed beast chuckled. "To think you'd die by becoming snake dung." For a brief moment, Naruto's eyes went red, but they quickly returned to blue. He crossed his fingers in opposition to the shadow clone jutsu, saying, "No way in hell." He could generate more than enough to overwhelm the beast and force it to spit him out, if not kill it, if he could build enough to fill a school. More than 100 Narutos were unleashed by the enormous snake, which resembled a cockroach swarming with wasp eggs. Together, they wiped the blood from their faces, blinked, and inhaled deeply, forming another Naruto chorus. "I am Naruto Uzumaki." The original cleared his throat. The army of Narutos nodded in agreement. "You all know what I'm thinking. Right now, you're not just me, and I'm not the real Naruto. We are Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki, the many yet only. Now, tell me, what are we going to do?" They pumped their fists, saying, "Kill them all." "And who are we going to kill?" "Everyone not Team 7. But who especially are we going to mutilate the absolute fuck out of?" "Any spineless fucking snake we come across." He raised his own fist in the air. Taking aim at the middle of the jungle, he exclaimed, "We are Naruto. Let's go." Through the trees came a wave of orange and blue that screamed bloody murder along its path. Enko clutched on to her sides as the storm approached, all the way back to where she had presented her test takers. She laughed as she watched the screaming Narutos scouting the furthest parts of the jungle, saying, "Oh fuck, oh hell, I knew that little bastard was going to be fun." She wiped the tears from her eyes and cried, "Keep going, boys, I want one." Tenzo was on the branch he'd been chased away from, peering through his mask, mouth wide. They had no idea what was going to happen. When Team 8 heard the screaming, they were at ease in their trap-filled safe place. "Is that right?" Kiba asked, his back to the earth as he dozed. "Naruto?" Leaning against a nearby tree, Hinata activated her Byakugan and gave herself a sharp shock. "He's coming." He blinked as the cries got louder and closer together, thinking, big deal. "They're shadow clones." He got up with a kip up. His face began to perspire as her lips opened and closed repeatedly, ending with a simple shake of the head. "How many?" he asked. His eyes went wide as he said, "Oh right, he filled the fucking classroom." "Oh shit, he filled the fucking classroom." For a few seconds, they were surrounded by yells and poofs, but then 2 Narutos swung down from the tallest branches, like furious monkeys, into their safe area. "Well, well," one said as he slid to the ground and used his knees to trap Kiba's leg, grounding him, and the other lunged in, hitting him twice in the face. "What we have here?" Akamaru leaped from his owner's sweater to bite the other clone in the face, while Hinata leaped on to the Naruto and hooked his leg, converting him to smoke. Kiba straightened and dabbed at the blood on his split lip. He knelt and scooped up his dog, saying, "He's been training with Sasuke." Shino, who was still sitting on the ground, let out several wasps. "We may be pinned down." Another 3 Narutos leaped in. One nodded, saying, "You got that right, fucker." The final person said, "Damn right," and extended his hand. The other 2 followed suit, pointing to the team members. The first to speak blinked. "Give us your scrolls or so help us, we will beat the ever-loving shit out of you." Another laughed. "Wait a minute, How do we know about them being here? They nodded, saying like we give a shit. We are Naruto. Yeah, Shino declared, the scroll of heaven is all we have. Every Naruto made a sad expression of their own. Another raised a fist and held it to his chest, saying, and we lost almost 10 of us to you. The last gave a damn it salute. They raced up the trees and resumed their rampaging, declaring, we are Naruto forever. Kiba cleared his throat of a lump. That guy has issues, man. I believe he is at a loss for how to channel his energy, hinted Hinata, putting her fingers together. This is his way of having fun. He's lonely. Sentient clones may do peculiar things in accordance with the original's subconsciousness. They act that way to make him feel better, Shino remarked, much to his friend's dismay. The attack of the clones was over on their end. When the army of orange and blue locusts invaded the forest, Team 10 was concealed in the underbrush. The first to take action was Shikamaru, who changed into Naruto. Guys, transform now. I think I'd rather die, Ino uttered with a wince. Choji complied, projecting the idealized picture of his own teammate. I'd not. We're never going to make Chunin if you do anyway. And Shikamaru covered her lips with his hand and transformed her violently, and she was powerless to stop him. 2 Narutos halted on either side of them and exclaimed, hey, are you guys Naruto? We are Naruto, exclaimed Shikamaru. Choji bit off a few of his chips. We are Naruto, MFE on Nato. Yes, exclaimed one. We are Naruto, exclaimed the other. They ignored the weakest Leaf team and went back to their Naruto business. Shaking his head, Shikamaru said, troublesome. Naruto withdrew his hand. Ugh, someone kill me. Naruto continued to eat. He seems like he's having a lot of fun. In a way, it was compensating for the unpleasantness of almost becoming snake poop. The efficiency of every other squad against the Naruto horde differed. With the clones understanding that the original had first dibs on a certain man, Team Guy was left all alone. Though there was no physical harm to Gaara or his siblings, Temari took offense at the remarks the Narutos made regarding her large behind in comparison to her small breasts. They avoided the ninja with sound forehead protectors since they were instackling his clones for some reason. Naruto didn't bother to recall that 2 teams from different villages were truly defeated, but none of them had the Earth Scroll. The Narutos who weren't engaged in combat were scouting. Some were killed by traps or by wildlife, but that just made the remaining Narutos smarter. A weirdo who was coiling herself around a tree branch like a snake and frightening the other members of Team 7 was spotted by 6 of the Narutos. They took shuriken out of their pouches and hurled them, exclaiming, it was you. The snake person fell to his or her feet. It licked its lips and said, I heard you yelling earlier. It launched a barrage of shuriken back, popping half of those that were moving too slowly to escape. That chakra of yours is immense. Split 150 ways, yet you were no worse for wear whatsoever, it exclaimed. A Naruto laughed, you poor, creepy motherfucker. Now the rest of us know where the asshole who fed us to a fucking snake is. It's true. The big snake was used to try murder, therefore all other conflicts were abandoned in favor of just revenge. With that, Sasuke pulled out their scroll of heaven and extended it to the outsider. Take this and leave. Every Naruto turned their attention to the Uchiha right away. Had he just another person nodded. Another shook his head and said he did. The last leaped over and took the scroll for himself, saying, you've got to be fucking kidding me. I'm sorry, the fuck you say, Sasuke remarked. This guy is too strong for us. Where his lips did not speak of terror, his eyes did. Trust me, Naruto. The clone balled up a hand. You... Another Naruto cried out from the ground, wait! Running up the tree, he grabbed hold of a branch. He stepped forward and gave the clone a high five. Sasuke gave a blink. He nearly knocked him off with a powerful backhand, much to Sakura's surprise and admiration. He peered into his eyes and said, who the fuck are you, and what have you done to Sasuke? He scoffed, thumbing down at the obliging, delighted creep. The Sasuke I know would sooner spit on the grave of his dead clan than let anyone so easily make him their bitch. Do you really think she'd just let you go if you gave up your scroll? She tried to feed me to a fucking snake. The grass ninja sliced open a finger and ran it over their tattooed wrist, asking themselves, was he really supposed to be the idiot? As they dodged an ever-increasing swarm of Narutos. Permit me to rectify an error now that I've discovered the true Naruto. This other, larger snake materialized beneath the ninja, launching itself directly towards the boy's area of the branch. Naruto was hit by the rocket snake's full force in his belly because he moved too slowly. He almost crashed into a tree, but he grabbed himself with his chakra there and spat blood. The anger he suppressed erupted. The boy leaped over, manifesting a red chakra cloak, and the stranger laughed. They watched as the shroud vanished and his features became normal. Now they leaped down and used their enormous snake to shield themselves from the clone's kunai, asking, is that involuntary? Or do you really think you can beat me without that power? He sank into his stance and bounced from one foot to the other, declaring, I would rather die than ever rely on anyone else's power again. Let's do this. Their tongue darted out and ringed him, saying, I'll find out in a second. Naruto shuddered at the thought of the slimy hug. Oh, come on. The stranger lifted him over, blazing chakra patterns on their fingers as they fanned out and lifted up the tummy of his shirt and vest with the tip. They prodded them at strategic locations inside the swirl design, saying your seal is showing. 5 elements unseal. All the other Naruto vanished from the world. After dropping the boy, the stranger turned to face a nearby trunk and strolled back. This should be interesting. What? Naruto gripped his gut with his hand. What did you do? His pupils contracted as a burst of red chakra came out of him. His cloak erupted again, his eyes going red. When he looked up, he saw the 9-tailed fox observing him. Their paws moved to encircle him as it said, he weakened the seal. I'll make sure to thank him before I kill him. As his cloak began to eat away at the branch, Naruto slumped and convulsed on it. Not again, fully emerged, his 2 tails protruding from his cloak. Another bubble erupted. Not like this, damn it. I wanted to be strong. Tears emerged from his eyes. I am your strength. I always was. Rest now. It closed its paws. Naruto also went to sleep. Anko Mitarashi was savoring the dango dumplings she had recently purchased. It didn't matter that she didn't know which one she was on. If someone said something, she would address it directly. She was not overweight, and she would not tolerate anyone disparaging her beauty. There, she said, completing the hidden leaf symbol by flicking a final skewer into a nearby tree. A body of a Chunin proctor flickered toward her. We've got trouble. What kind? I think you should see for yourself. She held up a hand toward the jungle and said, Bitch, please do not make me repeat myself. I'm responsible for an international test. I do not have the time to waste on your vague bullshit. The man took a swallow. Well, we found 3 faceless bodies of hidden grass ninja. Anko froze, recalling the person who had used her tongue to give her kunai. That kind of body-modifying jutsu was unusual, but not unheard of. She was well acquainted with the only man who had the ability to manipulate faces. Anko. She got up and leaped over the fence into the jungle and ran away. Anko? Tenzo shrugged, arching an eyebrow behind his mask. Still, it was none of his concern. He had no doubts she could manage it. He would wait for the Hokage for now. Then he had a fierce chakra that he hadn't felt in 13 years. He jumped over the edge and joined the proctor in searching the woodland, saying, That's my cue. They would require each other's support to be okay on the inside. His opponent did not ignore Naruto's laments. They thought it was a noble, if stupid, idea. On their own, very few people possessed true power, and if someone needed strength, they could always get it in one way or another from someone else. The stranger cooed, Poor thing. So long as you are a Jinchuriki, your strength will never be fully your own. That was decided for you on the day you were born. When Naruto's 4th tail appeared, red devoured his vision. He burnt through the vegetation as he fell through the branch. His skin was like paper, flaking away into the wind as soon as he reached the ground. Holding his head, he made one final effort to hang on. The stranger dove to get a close-up look at the metamorphosis. You've held on for long enough, just give up. The beast gazed in shock as its jailer started to struggle free. What? Naruto got up by himself. What did you just say? His swayed gaze went back to their typical crimson. This is impossible. When the fourth tail disappeared, blood shot from the holes in his skin. He was in no mood to worry that he had significantly more inside damage. His third tail went the same way as his fourth. What did you say to me? With each stride, he became more and more weaker. You fool, you're going to die against him. He let go of his second tail. Never give up, no matter what. He growled, his blue eyes resolute, as his last bit of tail vanished, and he turned his attention to the intrigued stranger. He moved to punch after pulling back his fist, but his new injuries caused him to pass out on his stomach. Still, he stared at the danger towering over him. The stranger bent over and gave him a pat on the head, saying, "Amazing." They laughed at his uncontrollably blushing face and said, "You've done well, phenomenal even." They coughed out an earth scroll and placed it next to Naruto, who watched in contempt. "You can keep that. Come now, don't be modest, you've earned it." Naruto took it and said, "Really making me feel like a cheap whore pulling chakra tricks for scrolls." The stranger remained motionless. They cocked a head. The disgusted expression on his face said, "Do you love the people of this village?" The stranger took a step back and said, "I thought so." They looked up at the other two members of Team 7, who were completely out of their element in this circumstance, and said, "We'll meet again." They turned to the patient snake and said, "As for them, feel free to eat." Hey! On its journey to the stranger, the snake was almost severed in half by a shuriken that used the wind itself to increase its speed and cutting ability. Asking as they leaped out of its reach, "Is that—" Enko showed up by Naruto's side, trembling with a boiling rage. "Orochimaru," she said, waving multiple times and sending wind beams in the stranger's way that leveled everything. Naruto staggered to his feet, then fell back down, saying, "Holy shit." She gestured for a single copy of herself to dart into the smokescreen, saying, "Relax." She was using the Shadow Clone Jutsu hand sign. It'll all be over soon. Examining a hole in his arm, Orochimaru was a short distance away from the destroyed location. "Oh, that Anko. You're so much like her, boy." "Yeah," she exclaimed as she emerged from the billowing debris, nudging him into a nearby tree trunk and using his disfigured arm to create a distinctive hand seal. "And you're going to pay for fucking him up and for everyone else, you piece of shit." He cocked his head, asking, "Twin snake sacrifice? Did you really think I'd teach you a jutsu that kills the user? No, that's why I'm not the real Anko." The clone's smile was cocky. Just before it blew up, Orochimaru blinked. "Yes," Enko said, throwing her hands up in the air. "I got him. Get fucked. I told everyone I was going to be the one to do it. Eat your heart out, Jiraiya." Naruto watched with dismay as the forested area became larger. "Can you teach me that?" She lifted him up and gave him a hug, sandwiching his face between her breasts inadvertently. Her smile beamed down at his still bleeding red face and said, "Of course I can. I'm the one who killed Orochimaru." Laughter broke out around them, cackling. Enko glared and released Naruto, saying, "Oh, for fuck's sake, I was so happy for a moment, you asshole." Tenzo materialized, turned to face his prey, and surveyed the damage. He turned to face the proctor and exclaimed, "What the hell happened here? Also, you kind of left those two alone with the giant snake. Did you kill it?" "I had other priorities." Naruto narrowed his eyes at the Anbu. He clenched his teeth and said, "I'm sorry. Wait, I'm not sorry. Who the fuck are you? And where the fuck are my teammates?" Dealing with a giant snake. "Why?" "Because Orochimaru summoned them." "Who the fuck am I?" Naruto glared at him. "Bitch, you know what I meant. Well." Orochimaru clapped his hands and emerged from the demolished areas of the forest, his true face completely uncovered and unmarked. "This is turning into a lovely evening." Tenzo sealed the snake's hand, and the overturned trees grew until they ensnared the figure. "If you have any fire and wind jutsu, now may be a good time." While her clone formed hand seals, Enko created a shadow clone, pulled out several shuriken, and breathed wind chakra over them. She hurled them, and her clone used the Phoenix Flower Jutsu to breathe fire on them, transforming them from enormous wind-infused shuriken into extremely large flaming shuriken. I never thought that Hashirama experiment would amount to anything, she said. Combination Jutsu. Sundowner Bonfire, Tenzo said. Really? Just as the wood surrounding Orochimaru burst into flames. Fuck you, test tube baby, it's awesome. From his vantage point, Naruto could feel the fire and shook his head. Basics and fundamentals over spitting fire and lightning, my ass. Orochimaru's voice resounded over the trees. With more experience, I think you're likely to find some truth to statement. But ninjutsu is just too potent for anyone who knows how to use it. Enko shouted, "Can you just die already?" Then came his laughs. "It was nice seeing you again, dear, and a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Survivor. If you cancel the Chunin exams or disqualify Naruto Uzumaki, I'll have to destroy the village though. I am simply far too interested to see what he does from this point. Am I supposed to be flattered?" he inquired, very rightly. "I have no idea who the fuck you're supposed to be," he sighed. "And you fed me to a snake." Before disappearing into the forest, Orochimaru's laughter encircled them for the final time. Enko said, "To be fair, so do I. He does that to a lot of people." She gave the Anbu a look. "Report to Lord Hokage. I know his tricks best, so I'll keep on his tail." She nodded as he did. She turned to face Naruto and gave him a playful ruffle in his hair. "You've got some balls, kid. If you really make it to the tower, I'll show you a trick or two. Just try not to die." A fire explosion several times the size of them caught their attention a short distance behind them. "That's where the..." Enko scoffed. "Did we just get fucking outdone by a genin?" Whispering Sasuke, Naruto said. He was the one. Neither blatantly unnecessary nor subtly so. He was being chased and hunted by an even bigger snake than the one that ate him, so he understood. After the snake was almost severed, the remaining members of Team 7 fled. They believed it to be their sole defense against a beast of that magnitude. Even though they were aware of Naruto's achievements, they were not as capable as he was at building their own army. Naruto was furious with Sasuke, the man he had compared himself to and given a hard talking to. He was allowing himself to be denigrated, and he was correct, and he could not stand that at all. They bounded from branch to branch as he turned to face her, Sakura. "We should split up and try to make it trap itself. When it's trapped, I want you to put it under a genjutsu for a few seconds and run. I'll handle it from there." Sakura nodded, realizing his meaning. "I'll do it. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Sakura turned to face the right, while Sasuke turned to face the left. After pausing briefly to consider its options, the snake decided to go straight for the girl with pink hair, even though she was the physically weaker of the two. She hopped from branch to branch, higher or lower, and in circles, smothering her terror. It took 30 seconds for it to slow down sufficiently for her to notice that something was wrong. She went through a couple of hand seals while spinning on her heel. She blinked, demon illusion, tree binding death. Recalling Sasuke's advice, she began running, saying, "I could have probably done that sooner, now that I think about it." Knowing that he needed to be within range for it to operate, Sasuke himself trailed behind the snake as it split off. If he had the chakra for it, the jutsu he had on his mind could cover the whole forest. Right now, he hardly had enough chakra for a lower version. He knew it was going to kill him when he first went through the hand seals. Back then, he was a young boy searching through his clan books for anything that would help him defeat Itachi. Through constant practice, he'd been building up his chakra reserves to withstand long-term battles and circumstances such as these. It was time now. He worked through each hand seal individually in an attempt to keep costs as low as possible. It was likely that he would have to survive in order to take any further tests after this one. When he was done with the tiger seal, he released a torrent of fire that might have destroyed the structure and killed every person in the academy. Fire style, magnificent flame destroyer. The snake was too distracted believing it was caught in a tree to slither out of the path, not that it could. The cohesiveness of Team 7 placed it in a situation from which it was unable to recover. Had Naruto not been destroyed before Sasuke's will was momentarily subverted, they could have had a reasonable chance against their unexpected foe. Both its flesh and scales were burnt black. Sasuke whistled at the devastation he had caused, taking several deep breaths. He briefly believed he was overly overcome with his success before realizing the cost of the chakra. Leaping away from the encroaching fire, he almost fell upon the next tree he came to. He could not afford to take time off to heal because if he stopped, it would consume him. Madara Uchiha would be pleased no matter where he was.
I will continue the story in next part. Till then, we weep offline.